Pop culture buffs are flocking to the West Coast for the 2024 San Diego Comic-Con. Recognized as the largest Comic-Con in the U.S., this year's event began Wednesday. It runs through Sunday, and attendees can experience meet and greets with artists and creators, attend panel discussions, engage in cosplay, or shop for their favorite branded merchandise and collectibles. And Michael Peyton joins us with more from San Diego. He is the director of events and partnerships for IGN. So let's start off with the celebrity guests because that's one of the big draws for Comic-Con. Who's drawing the most buzz? Who are you most looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, there have been a lot of celebrities drawing a ton of buzz here. Chris Hemsworth was here yesterday. Legend fan favorite Mark Hamill was announced as part of the upcoming SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And then, of course, last night, all eyes were on the biggest movie, I'd say, in the world right now, which is Deadpool and Wolverine. And Ryan Reynolds was here. Hugh Jackman was here. There were surprise cameo appearances by Jennifer Garner, Wesley Snipes, Channing Tatum, and Chris Evans, and a lot more. In terms of who's coming up, Keanu Reeves is here. He's going to be here promoting his comic book series, Berserker. I think maybe not a lot of people knew that Keanu Reeves was also a comic book author. And then, yeah, we're going to see lots more celebrities, including appearance by Colin Farrell from the HBO series Penguin, and a lot more. So a lot of excitement here. A lot of excitement.
I was laughing as you said SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't really think of them as a Comic-Con. You know what? Who you do think of though is Marvel, and Marvel is returning to Hall H after skipping a panel last year. Talk to us about the announcement that's expected, particularly when it comes to some new movies.
Well, so as I mentioned before, Marvel actually has two panels here in Hall H this year. They had the big Deadpool and Wolverine panel and screening yesterday. And after that panel, they actually had a big drone show over Petco Park here in San Diego. And part of that drone show, they were teasing, we think, what is actually going to be in the Hall H panel tomorrow. So we're expecting a lot of things. Chief among them is news about the new Fantastic Four movie, which stars Pedro Pascal and others, particularly about the villain of that film, whose name is Galactus. And then we're also expecting some news from Avengers 5, the upcoming and long gestating Blade movie, and also some of the Marvel TV series, including Agatha All Along and Daredevil Born Again. So yeah, lots to be excited about, lots to expect for tomorrow night.
And, you know, it's all about, I think, the costumes, because we saw all those attendees wearing all different sorts of outfits as homage to their favorites. But when we think about Comic-Con, 2 years ago, it was the pandemic. Last year, it was a Hollywood strike. Has the pop culture event fully recovered from those setbacks?
Yes. I mean, in a word, yes, definitely. I like to say, actually, though, that, I mean, in my opinion, I think that it actually never really went away. So, yes, this year, studios and streamers are back in a big way. There are lots of movies, lots of A-list celebrities, lots of TV shows to be celebrated. You mentioned that, or we were talking about the Marvel presence here. But last year, when the dual strikes were happening, Comic-Con still went on. There were still, tens of thousands of attendees here celebrating everything from comics to collectibles to video games, which our audience at IGN loves. So while it's definitely back and in full force this year, it never really went away, but everyone here is really excited that it's back at full capacity in terms of all the great stuff we're going to see here.
You know, some, I don't want to say critics, but some purists of like old school Comic-Con say that that the focus on comics has been diluted with more of these celebrities, with high-tech gadgets and merch. Do you think that there's any validity to that, or do you think that this is just an evolution of Comic-Con in the same way that our society is evolving?
I don't think that the focus on big franchise IP, big movies, big series, big celebrities has taken the focus from comics and the classic things that fans of Comic-Con that they enjoy. I think it's an addition. So, if you look at some of the things that have been announced and discussed at Comic-Con so far this year, Marvel Comics has announced a lot of big things already in the 2 days that Comic-Con has been taking place, including new Star Wars comic announcements. DC Comics has announced a lot of things, including a new Justice League comic. The Lycan from Comixology was announced. Yeah, so there are still a lot of really cool announcements, really cool reveals that happen in the world of comics and also collectibles to some of the more traditional areas of focus for Comic-Con. So yes, there has been an evolution into, pop culture now means huge, huge franchises, huge studios, the MCU, the DC universe, all of those things. So the cool thing about Comic-Con is that it's really capable of celebrating all of those things. So while a lot of maybe the press attention goes to the movies and TV shows, there's also a lot of other things here for the fans to celebrate.
A widening of the tent for everyone. Everyone's invited.
Yes.
Hey, Michael, are you going to dress up?
This is it. I'm working here, so mine is just kind of a standard production uniform. But maybe next year I'll come in some cosplay. You never know.
Michael Peyton, thank you.